Welcome back, folks. I'm Jake Ellenbogen, and today we are going to be talking about new Rams running back Jarquez Hunter, the explosive back out of Auburn. They traded up in the 4th round to get. We're going to talk about what he is going to likely bring to the table in 2025, what we can expect his role to be, and so forth. But before we do, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Also, be sure to follow me on all social media at JKBogan, including Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and Kick. All right, so if you didn't know, you've been living under a rock. This was Sean McVay's guy on day 3. This was the guy he did not want to lose. There's no question who I want. And look, that was the quote, right? He called Hunter his favorite running back in the class. And I had him mock to the Rams in my second mock draft, and it's clear why they love him. We're going to break it down, but the Rams right now have one of the best running back rooms they've had in quite some time. I mean, just all together, you got Kyren Williams, Blake Corum, Jarquez Hunter, Ronnie Rivers, Cody Schrader. Hell, that UDFA Waters doesn't look bad either. So let's talk about it. 5'9", 204, he's a wrecking ball, but he's also got elite breakaway speed. In 2024, he led the SEC with 6.9 yards per carry. He racked up 1,200 plus yards, 11 touchdowns on 78 carries. He's got contact balance that's just simply unreal. The low pad level you love to see. And he has this powerful lower body that's going to allow him to kind of shrug off tacklers. And you saw it at the 2025 Combine. He ran a 4.4. This guy has breakaway speed. He's also a dynamic kick returner. So, averaging about 26 plus yards per return with a touchdown in college. He can help in that regard. He's got pass protection needs. So, he is going to need to work on that if he wants more opportunities. He wants more snaps. But he's got a high character, very relentless work ethic and motor. And I think he's going to fit the McVay we not me culture very well. And of course, Les Snead had some skin in the game here too. Wasn't going to fight off Sean McVay wanting him, especially that Les Snead is from Auburn. So he obviously liked him as well. But why did they aggressively trade up to begin with? I think it does beg the question. However, when you look, there was a run on running backs in 2025, especially in that 4th round. And, even before that, and they met with him pre-draft. They had, the digital whatever. They had him over Zoom or whatever. They saw a fit. And I think he fits their outside zone run scheme. Now they'll still run gap. But you are seeing more outside zone this year, I believe. And he's going to thrive on that speed, the decisiveness. You have Kyren, you have Corum, but he's really tough between the tackles. He's a guy that's really hard to bring down. Kyren has some moments, but for the most part, you can bring him down and you can bring down Blake Corum. Hunter's going to bring that power and speed combo with those explosive plays. So I think when you look at him, he's a home run hitter to enter this backfield. They need it. In 2025, I personally believe that Jarquez Hunter is going to be competing with Corum for number 2 running back snaps. Now, I don't necessarily think he's going to be the de facto number 2 running back. Kyren Williams is going to be the starter in all likelihood, unless something crazy happens where he gets traded. But I don't see that happening. He's likely going to get 80% of the carries, maybe 70%, whatever, of the snaps, right? Expect Hunter and Corum, in my opinion, though, to split the remaining. And I think when it comes to Corum, he might get more snaps. But I think Hunter, when he's on the field, they're going to be giving him the ball more. Corum is more likely, he's a better pass protector than Hunter. That is the biggest issue with Hunter. And I think he can get better at that. So it's not like he's doomed. But you look at him as a change of pace back. I look at him as this. There are a lot of people that would say, yeah, he's just number 3, can come in and, offer some speed. No, when you need a home run, like you're putting in that pinch hitter off the bench that can hit for power, right? You need a home run. Are you going to keep the contact bat, or are you going to go for the jugular and try to get that home run and go after the pinch hitter on the bench who's a power hitter? That to me, in every meaning of the word power, that to me is Jarquez Hunter. So they'll use him in other ways. But when you have a 68.4% explosive run rate, and keep in mind, explosive runs, it's anything 15 plus yards or more in 2024, that tells me that you're a big play guy. And I think that is going to complement everybody well in this running back room, because I think it gives Sean McVay the opportunity to have different looks. He can be used in play action and as a pass catcher. The speed is going to stretch defenses vertically. He's got the kick return skills. So they'll probably use him in that regard. Again, it really comes down to if he wants to play all three downs, and he doesn't have to right now, but at some point down the line, if he wants to, he's going to have to get better in pass protection. So the fact that McVay and company wanted him and he's not the best in pass protection tells me that they believe he translates well and will be coached up and will, easily work as a pass protector. So I think he's got a legit long-term role. I think he can be the franchise running back down the stretch. I'm not going to say he's going to replace, Kyren and Corum this year. I'm not going to say next year. But at the end of his contract, I wouldn't be surprised if we're talking about this guy potentially sliding in there as the number one back. But I do think there are some serious challenges trying to carve out touches in a crowded backfield. We saw Blake Corum was drafted because he's just like Kyren Williams, right? Well, the problem was the whole point of him was that you wanted to have Kyren Williams on the field even when Kyren Williams wasn't on the field, because they saw without Kyren Williams on the field, the offense struggles, and mainly in pass protection. And so they drafted a player who's very similar in Blake Corum, and he didn't really get the opportunity because they just kept throwing Kyren back out there. And while, I love Kyren, you got to manage his workload. Otherwise, he's not going to last, right? So that was a big thing. I mean, the fourth most touches in Rams history. I sound like a broken record saying that. The other three, all three of them in 3 separate years were Dickerson. I got to be honest with you. That is not conducive to keeping a running back healthy and productive over a long period of time. So Kyren, with not the biggest build in the world, probably should be getting some help. And I do expect Corum and Hunter will be a part of that. So the final verdict here is in 2025, Jarquez Hunter is going to split the number 2 running back duties with Blake Corum. I would lean towards Corum getting more snaps. I would lean towards Hunter getting more carries per snap, if that makes sense. I think he's going to have some explosive runs. Wouldn't be surprised if he ends up with like 3 or 4 touchdowns this year, and maybe 2 breakaway touchdowns. You got kick returning impact. I think in 2026, it's going to be really interesting because at the Rams, they don't have any issue drafting running backs. And if they sign Kyren Williams to a long-term deal, I think Jarquez Hunter and Blake Corum will probably stick around and they'll have their own roles and what have you. But if they move on from Kyren, the door's wide open to win the number 1 running back job. And because Kyren's in a contract year. And furthermore, if they just find that Hunter's better than Corum, they could trade Corum. They could move on. We see this all the time. They told us Cam Akers was their franchise running back. They had Eric Dickerson, the whole, new uniform and everything, the modern throwback, and they had the video with Eric Dickerson, like passing the torch. Yeah, how long did that last? Obviously, we know he got hurt, but still, how long did that last, truly? So the Rams have not been a team to stand by the same guy. When you look, Steven Jackson was with the Rams forever, and then eventually he went to the Falcons. But after Steven Jackson, who really was kind of a long-term Rams running back? You drafted Zach Stacy, had a great year. The second year he split time with Trey Mason, wasn't a long-term running back. Trey Mason had a really good rookie year, wasn't a long-term running back, right? Then you got Todd Gurley, wasn't a long-term running back. He lasted until the end of 2019. They moved on from him in 2020. So they had him from 2015 to, so that's like the longest that they had, right? Then you go and you get Darrell Henderson in 2019. Now he lasted a while, but he wasn't always the starter. He wasn't the guy, right? They tried to make Cam Akers the guy. So not a long-term running back. Cam Akers, not a long-term running back. Kyren Williams now has had back-to-back seasons of over 1,000 yards, 30-plus touchdowns. And We don't know if he's going to get re-signed. So this is not an organization that has, a long-term franchise running back, right? And really, the league isn't. It's not a league with that. Because if you think about it, Saquon Barkley, is he going to be known as an Eagle or a Giant? An Eagle, right? But he was on the Giants his whole career. Derrick Henry was on the Titans for a long time, and now he's even on a new team. He is now on the Ravens. Josh Jacobs. Oh, yeah, you thought he'd be with the Raiders? Nope. He's on the Packers now. So Christian McCaffrey didn't even stay with the Panthers. He went to the 49ers. He was traded away. This isn't a position where guys are sticking around for a long time. Joe Mixon is no longer on the Bengals. He was traded to the Texans. Like, the names that you associate with other teams, these guys are up and leaving now. Like, this isn't a position that's like a Kobe Bryant position where you play for one team your whole career. But we should already know that because this goes back to the Rams. Rams got Marshall Faulk, and yes, he was, he'll be remembered as a Ram who was around for a while, but he started off as a Colt. Eric Dickerson didn't finish his career, didn't even come close to finishing his career with the Rams. So, we've seen this. This has been a thing. So, yes, I wouldn't necessarily guarantee anything. Kyron Williams, I wouldn't guarantee, Corum, Hunter, whatever. I'll just say this. What I know now, what I believe in now, is that Jarquez Hunter has a real good shot to be a key contributor for the offense and special teams this year. And that's exciting. Loved his film. A lot of fun to watch. Pegged him as a guy that they would go after. And I loved the pick. I loved the aggression to trade up for him. It was smart. Go out and get your guy. Don't just settle for less, right? So that's my thought on Jarquez Hunter. Expect, this player to make an impact. Wearing number 35. Very interesting. I haven't seen that number worn on a Rams running back since C.J. Anderson. It was fun to watch. But that's going to do it. What do you guys think of Hunter's fit? Do you think he can muster his way into a starting role someday? Or do you think he's really just kind of a complimentary back? Let me know in the comment section below. Got to give Sean McVay credit, though. There's one thing he said during the offseason that stood out that I continued to have playing in my head over and over again, and it's very simple. When he was talking about Liam Cohen and what those guys did, how he worded it, with Bucky Irving and having a dynamic playmaker in the run game, he practiced what he preached because they went out and they got Hunter, who I think can be kind of similar in that lightning rod. I said that now twice in this little mini series. But anyway, Hunter can be that. He can. So I'm excited for him. I'm not out on Blake Corum, as I've said. I'm not out on Kyron Williams. All three can thrive, and this is the sign of the times. 2025, there's never been a better time to have three competent running backs. If Jarquez Hunter can get the pass protection figured out, he's going to be a damn good football player. Those are my thoughts. Let me know yours below, and I'll see you guys soon. Later, folks. All right, guys. So once again, just want to let you guys know that you can check out my new side project, The Lounge. I interview athletes, musicians, actors, actresses, all the nine. So definitely check it out over on the Lounge with Jake Ellenbogen channel. Be sure to subscribe and enjoy. In case you guys haven't noticed, I do have a Discord channel for my community on this channel. And if you want to be a part of it, it is free. The link is in the description below. You can sign up. This is basically a 24/7 Rams channel, and we are almost at 1,100 members. So if you want to be a part of it, just hit the link in the description below.